This is the moment that can change everything. Not because there's so much changing in our external reality, but because we are deciding to move with more softness. We are deciding to move with more flow. We are deciding to release the grip. We are deciding to move with more ease. We are deciding to let it go. One of my favorite stories of Oshun, and anyone who practices Ifa knows this story very well. One of my favorite stories of Oshun was when the earth was being created, and Olodumare, the creator, sent all of the Orisha down to create all these different beautiful aspects of the earth. They were creating the mountains and the forests and the valleys and the deserts and all these beautiful things. And of course, Oshun, being the youngest Orisha, all of the male Orisha said, "Oh no, we don't need Oshun's help. We don't need Oshun's medicine. We don't need Oshun's help in creating this beautiful earth that Olodumare gave us instruction to create," right? And so they ignored Oshun. They didn't let Oshun come and help. And Oshun said, "Okay, I'm not going to fuss with you. I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to try to force you to allow me to help you. I'm not going to try to say, no, this is my worth. Listen to me, and I need to." No, I'm going to go all the way back up to the moon. And I'm just going to gaze at myself in my beautiful mirror. And I'm going to relax and I'm going to kick back and I'm just going to let the boys figure it out. Let the men figure it out. And so the male Orisha continued to try to create earth. And they said, "Okay, we're done. We got the mountains, we got the forests, we got this, we got that. Okay, we done. But they were missing one thing. For you guys in the comments and for you guys on YouTube, does anyone know what they were missing? Some of you may know, some of you may not. What were they missing? Put it in the comments. They had the mountains, they had the deserts, they had the forests, they had everything that they thought they needed. But what they were missing was sweet water. What they were missing was fresh water. And so I love this story, and actually let me finish the story before I move forward. And so Olodumare, they went back up, the male Orisha went back up to Orun, to heaven, and asked, there's things are dying on earth. What's going on? Why is everything not flowing as it should? We created all these beautiful things on planet Earth. What's going on? And Olodumare looked around and said, where is Oshun? Where is Oshun? And he said, "Oh no, you must include Oshun. Because without fresh water, without sweet water, there is no life." Right? Oshun being the energy, the deity associated with the river, associated with sweet waters, associated also with desire, with creativity. And so I love this story of Oshun and how this is so related to the autumn equinox, is because in this period of time, as we are exiting out of this eclipse season and going into this space of renewal, of replenishment, of reestablishment of our own foundation, we have to remember that the strongest touch, the most powerful touch, is in the least amount of effort. And so Oshun didn't force herself to be seen by the other male Orisha. She didn't force herself and her value to be seen. She didn't make a list and say, these are all the reasons why you need me. No, instead, she removed her presence altogether. And that's one of my favorite stories of Oshun, because it continuously reminds us of the fact that in achieving beautiful things, in creating beautiful things, in really walking in alignment with our destiny, It's not about how much we can force. It's not about how much we can parade and move and no, look at me, look at me. No, rather it's about how much we can flow. It's about where we can bring the lightest touch in our process. It's about where we can bring more softness, more ease, more gentleness. And so as we move out of this eclipse into this period of time where we're in this autumn equinox, this energy of balance, of restoration, one of the easiest ways to begin to shift into this space of gentleness is through gratitude, is through counting your blessings, is by seeing how the unseen has protected you, has guided you, has led you to this moment. There's so many stories about Oshun. There's so many stories about Oshun that I love. And so many of them rather, represent this idea of flow. And of course, Oshun's number being 5, Oshun being this beautiful, powerful force of creative flow, of creative energy, of beauty, of fertility. We have to remember that in that energy of flow, there is no force. And in that energy of power, there is not force either. There is gentleness. Ciao. There's so much more I could say, but let's get into this reading. You guys know that this is a reading and a ritual. If you're not ready to do the ritual, don't stick around for the reading, okay? We know that ritual is a child of sacrifice, meaning that if you're not willing to do the sacrifice or the ritual, don't get the reading, okay? So if you're ready for a big change, if you're ready to implement something new or maybe return back to something that you know, tap in. We block off all negative energies from all realms and dimensions and all space and time, and we invite in our benevolent angels, our benevolent spirit guides, and our benevolent ancestors to come forward and deliver messages of love and light to best assist us on our path and purpose. Spirit, thank you so much for bringing us here. Thank you so much for guiding us to this moment. There are a lot of people who have not made it to... Ooh, we getting good cards already. Okay, 1 second. There are a lot of people who have not made it to this moment, so we just have to be grateful for being able to wake up. We have to be grateful for being able to tune in. We have to be grateful for being able to be in community. We have to be grateful for another opportunity for alignment. We have to be grateful for another opportunity to be blessed. We have to be grateful for another opportunity to make the right choice. We have to be grateful for another opportunity to live within our destiny. We have to be grateful for another opportunity to welcome in. And put it in the comments right now, people on YouTube and on Instagram, put it in the comments right now. What are you welcoming in? What are you welcoming in? I posted today on Instagram about softness, about gentleness, about ease. And I'm going to be so fucking honest with you guys. Obviously, you guys know that I love Ifa. And there's one of the cornerstone, one of the biggest things in Ifa, right, is to walk with gentle character. And being someone who loves to be intimate with what I have in front of me, I'm looking at the definition of gentleness and I'm like, what does this mean? I'm looking at the definition of humility and I'm like, what does this mean? As a Black woman, I'm like, what does this mean for me? Because as Black women, Black people, we're always taught to be more humble. We're always taught to shut up. We're always taught to move to the side. If you're walking down the street, you move to the side, right? We're always taught all this bullshit. So what does this mean? And it wasn't until recently that I really understood what it means to walk with gentleness. And Spirit speaks through so many different ways and avenues. It was actually in a yoga class that I took. Oof, it was a guest teacher. Don't y'all hate that? When you're in a yoga class and it's a damn guest teacher. It's a traveling teacher. Because I love to stay committed. My yoga teacher in New Orleans, I've been going to her for 2 years and I love it. But she spoke about this and it connected so many dots for me. With gentleness, it does not mean to walk with this energy of everyone overpower me or be humble, as in I'm just gonna not speak about my own accomplishments. No, it's not that. Gentleness is walking firmly yet softly. Gentleness is being intentional with the steps that you take. Ashe, we got our cards. I love this. Gentleness, iwa puele, means walking with patience. And one of my favorite quotes from my Baba is, it is not just being patient. It's about who you are. What kind of person you are when you are being patient. When you are being patient, are you waiting with impatience? Are you saying I'm being patient, but looking over my shoulder? When I'm patient, but no, right? Iwapule is who you are when you are patient. Iwapule and gentle character is trust. Iwapule and gentle character is firmness and gentleness. Iwapule and gentle character is flowing, not forcing, right? And I'm just a baby. I'm just a baby in my spiritual practice. I'm just a baby in this tradition that I'm so grateful to have found. I'm just a baby. And so for Ifa practitioners, please put it in the comments what your definition of gentle character is. Okay, and we're going to get into this reading. Again, this is the reading for the equinox energy, and I just feel the energy. The energy is so powerful right now. I feel called to pull 2 more cards. Ashe, and 2 pops out here. I love that for us. First card that we have here is Heaven. First card that we have here is Heaven. If you see me looking up here, I'm talking to YouTube, I'm talking to Instagram at the same time. First card that we have here is Heaven. Second card that we have here is Open Roads. Open Roads. Ooh, someone asked a really beautiful question. Calm mind where God can act through us. Yes, and God acts through us through our purpose, which is the solution to someone else's problem. Right? We have Infinite as the 3rd card, and then we have Crossing Paths as the 4th card. Starting off with this energy of Heaven. What is the most easeful way? What is the most beautiful, easeful, gentle way to move into this energy of gentleness is through gratitude. What is the most easeful way to move into this energy of gentleness, of flowing and not forcing, is through gratitude. Is through seeing what has been given to us now. Is by recognizing how we have already shifted timelines. Is by tuning into what exactly, what prayers have been answered that we may have not even looked for the answer because we're so busy going to the next thing. Right? What prayers have been answered that we didn't even realize were answered? How can we sit in this energy of heaven? How can we sit in this energy of flow? How can we sit in this energy of gentleness? It's by bringing in the energy of gratitude. It's by meditating on the things that we are the most grateful for. It's by recognizing that there are so many blessings and so many answered prayers around us right now. So how can we uplift that right now? As we move into this beautiful energy of the autumn equinox, as we move out of this eclipse season, eclipse portal, we have to, number 1, recognize what prayers have been answered in this moment. Put that in the comments. What prayers has been answered for you in this moment? For me, it was finally leaving New Orleans, child. Woo! And moving back to Brooklyn. Finally, by the grace of God. Okay? What prayers have been answered for you? What prayers have been answered for you? How are you living in an answered prayer right now? How are you living in an answered prayer right now? And as we recalibrate and allow ourselves to reset and renew, and as we bring the energy of softness, the next card here being Open Road. Spirit says, make sure that you complete the things that you started. Spirit says, allow yourself to understand and see just how lucky you are. So can you pull that same energy of luck? Can you pull that same energy of God's favorite? Can you pull that same energy of the universe's favorite into everything that you do? Do not keep preparing for the worst. Instead, remember all the times that you were lucky. Instead, remember all the times that you were the outlier, the exception to the rule. Remember all the times that things shouldn't have happened and things shouldn't have but they did. Right? But they did. Oh, Oh, is that Sydney in the comments? Hold on. We got Sydney and Serena in the comments. I have my own space. Both of y'all on the same vibration. Hold on. I have my own space. I have all that I need and more. I have tangible love in every day of my life. Ashe, Sydney. Finally moving back into my own space that is calm, serene, and sacred. Beautiful, Serena. Fatty Cupcake says, I ask to like without a care and without a worry. This year I have been unemployed so many times and have had peace that passes all understanding. Ashe. Finally moving to another country and starting a new skill, connecting to aligned people with good intentions. Ashe. People on YouTube, please comment as well. Sydney and Serena, I better see y'all in Bali next year for the retreat. Okay? Healers, healing, healers. Again, the second card that we have here is Open Road. Is Open Road. How can we move with that energy of remembering how lucky we are? How can we move with the energy of remembering that we are the exception to the rule? We can choose right now to be the moment of replenishment. We can choose right now to be the moment of renewal. But are we willing to change how we see our current situation so that the blessings and the opportunities can be revealed to us, not in a way that are being bestowed onto us, but in a way that we can see what's already here? Can we shift our perspective? Sometimes the miracle is just simply a shift in perspective. Sometimes the miracle is just simply seeing things differently. Sometimes the miracle is allowing your head to get aligned with your heart. The third card that we have here is Infinite. This is a beautiful reading, you guys. I'm so grateful to be channeling this information. The beautiful, beautiful third card that we have here is Infinite. Is infinite. Now, as we move with the energy of being the outlier, as we move with the energy of being the exception to the rule, as we move with the energy of being the favorite, of being the one who triumphs over all, of being the one of, I don't know what's going on with you, but I know for me, it always works out. I know for me, it's always in alignment. I know for me, every step that I take is anointed. I know for me, every step that I take is protected. I know for me, every step that I take, I am guided by my ancestors. I'm guided by my Ori. I'm guided by Olodumare. I'm guided by the forces that walk with me, that protect me, that guide me, that provide for me, that cherish me, that water me. As we walk with this energy, how can we dream just a little bit bigger? Not from a space of our ego, but from a space of who else's lives could be changed by this information? Who else's lives could be changed by my offerings? From me being of service, who else could be impacted by this? How can I spread this information? How can I be a solution to someone else's problem? How can I be in community with somebody? How can you step out of your room, out of your house, and ask, Spirit, show me how I can be of service today. Show me what you need me to do today. Show me how to be in community today. Show me how I can fully show my gifts today. And do not judge how that comes up. Don't judge how Spirit wants to use you. Don't judge how Spirit wants to speak through you. Don't judge how Spirit wants to work through you. That's where our ego gets in the way of saying, no, it has to be like this. It has to be like this. It has to be like that. It has to look like this. It has to involve this. In order for you to attract in more abundance, you have to literally become the abundance that you seek. How do you become that? By allowing every way that you possibly can, every way in your being that you possibly can be, to be of service. It does not mean that you always give, but it means maybe you holding space for people is the service. It means you just seeing someone is the service. It means you giving a compliment is the service, right? It means maybe putting your writing out there is the service. It means finally telling your story is the service. And so when we see the card about infinite, when we see this card of infinite, right? This is about seeing beyond yourself. And many times the ego has many different parameters in which it wants to operate. But how can we see beyond ourselves? Whew. Spirit is here, y'all. How can we see beyond ourselves? Sacred service. How can we see beyond ourselves? How can we see the different ways in which Spirit wants to use us? Not in a way that leaves us empty, but in a way that allows us to see even more aspects of our own gifts and our own being. Asking the ways in which we have limited our own selves. Asking the ways in which we have limited our own expression. Exactly, fatty cupcake. Don't make me want a cupcake in this rising. Y'all know I got a sweet tooth. How can we be humble? And that's where we bring another concept from Ifa into this. My cat is yelling to come out. 2 seconds, okay, 2 seconds. How can we bring another concept of Ifa into this? Is humility is not letting people talk over you or act any way with you. Humility is being able to see how spirit wants you to be of service in this moment. Of not letting the ego get in the way of being in community, of being of service. And many times as spiritualists, especially, hello my love. Many times as spiritualists especially, we think that being of service is trying to help other people, but in reality that's codependency. Codependency is not just needing someone, it's needing other people to need you. And so we think, oh, I'm just gonna come in, I'm gonna help them fix their life, and we're gonna meditate together, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. But the next level of that understanding is holding space and is acceptance. And a lot of people don't need advice. What we all need is a safe and soft landing. And sometimes just that is an act of service. So how can you be a safe and soft landing for yourself, for other people? How can you let your guard down? How can you put your ego to the side? I took a yoga class a couple of days ago, and he was making us, not making us, but instructing us to talk to the people around us and hold hands, and we're all doing the boat pose and we're all doing it together and all that kind of stuff. And I love that. That class was so good, and he really just reminded us, especially living in New York City, that we go into the world, with this armor on. When we take the train, when we take the bus, we scan and make sure that the environment is safe, and we go into this world with this armor on, right? But humility maybe is putting that armor down and allowing yourself to connect with people around you, allowing yourself also to have the discernment of knowing who and what spaces you're meant to connect with, right? But also not automatically accepting or expecting the worst. Last card that we have here is crossing paths. The last card that we have here is crossing paths. As we come into this new space of replenishment, as we come into this new space of this autumn equinox, we're going to be faced with a decision. Are you going to repeat the same cycle again? Or are you going to release and renew? Are you going to repeat the same cycle again? Or are you going to let your guard down and flow with where your spirit wants you to go? Right? And flow with where your spirit wants you to go. Not having some sort of attachment to how it's supposed to look, and releasing the grip. The clarifiers that we have here are lucky and guides, which we spoke about throughout this reading. The bottom of the deck energy here is fire in the reverse. Again, this is not a time for masculine energy, not a time for force, but instead a time for flow, instead a time for renewal. The bottom of the deck energy from this other deck, which is my favorite, the Chalks of Congo deck, my favorite deck, period, is Journey. How can we recognize the beauty in the journey and the process? How can we romanticize the energy of recommitting? How can we fall in love with the process? What is perfect in this moment? What is perfect in this moment? How can we be more like Oshun and pull away the force and understand that our power lies in the lightest touch? Ashe. This is a reading in the ritual, and the ritual here is asking yourself, how can I release my grip? In a practical way. I don't mean I'm going to release and let go. No, what is something that you know you need to do that'll exemplify the energy of release? That'll exemplify the energy of releasing the grip. What is a practical thing a thing, not just a concept, a thing that you can do. Right? Maybe you've been trying to force something to happen. Maybe you've been trying to make something work. How can you bring more softness or gentleness to that? The ritual is gentleness. The ritual is humility. The ritual is coming into the space of asking for forgiveness. I love that. Put it in the comments too, people on YouTube. What is a way that you can bring more gentleness? And folks here too on Instagram as well. What is a way that you can bring more gentleness? What is a practical thing that you can do? What is a way that you can soften your process today? Being a daughter of Oshun, what I've learned is there's so much to your value, Ashe. Apologizing for wrongs, owning my heart, Ashe, beautiful. So the ritual is gentleness. What is one practical thing you can do? Resting. Have patience. Ashe. I love you guys very much. If you're someone who considers yourself a healer, a leader, and you're interested in being among other healers and leaders in a restorative and replenishing space, I am hosting my third international retreat, which is going to be in Bali next year, and that launches this Friday. You guys know where to find all that information. It's going to be on my stories mostly, but then I'll put it on my website as well. And I cannot wait to meet so many more of you. Last year in Thailand, y'all sold it out twice. So this is going to be, I know, a beautiful retreat again. And I love you guys so very much. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Can't wait to see you too. Bye.